It's gonna be a hard one. So today, instead of our regular figuring out the Bible video, there's a lesson that I've learned in my life that I can't help but feel needs to be shared to someone, and well, it's a lesson it's the hardest lesson I've ever learned, and it's a lesson that God is telling me to teach today. I can't describe it. I don't know how I just I just feel that he wants me to teach this today. So this one's gonna be heavy. It's gonna it's gonna pull at heartstrings, and there may even be a little bit of tears because it, it's um it's a huge topic, and very very personal. Just after my 20th birthday, um, I flew down to Tennessee to be with my father in his final days. Um, he had gotten sick. Um, we assume it was cancer, but we don't really know. He refused to go to the doctor about it, and um, he refused to let us call anybody to or do anything about it. Um, he he made me promise I wouldn't if I went down there. Um, so because he made me promise, when I went down there, I I didn't do anything to really. I didn't do anything to try and prolong what was happening. I didn't do much of anything at all. I mostly hung out with him, just tried to keep him comfortable as best I could. Got him what he needed. By the time I got there, he was bedbound. Um, but yeah, I went down there, and I basically had to just watch him go. Um, and for the longest time, that really really tore me up. Um, and I carried such an immense amount of guilt for not doing something that it destroyed me. Um, but um, in the last couple of years, I've found Christ again, and well, I shouldn't say again. I've truly found Christ, or more, He found me. Um, that's a whole other story that maybe at some point I'll share. But one of the things that Christ has taught me, um, is that it was His time. No matter what I had done, he still would have gone at that exact moment. If he if we had gotten him to go and check into hospice, still would have been the exact same moment. If we had talked him into going and getting all the treatment in the world, still would have been at that exact same moment. Nothing anybody did could have changed it. He was going to pass away at that exact moment. After carrying the guilt of not doing everything I thought I should have for so long, it's taken a long time for me to come to acceptance of the fact that I did everything I could have done. I I dropped everything. I quit my job and I went down there to be with him. Um, and now that I've truly learned that lesson, it's really been comforting, and it's allowed me to let go of some of those burdens I've been carrying for so long. And it's all because of Christ. It's all because of Jesus. He told us, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." I was so heavy laden with that guilt and the pain because I didn't do anything. But at the end of the day, if I had done something, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been a fruitless venture because it was his time. And thinking about that this morning, I came to a bit of an epiphany. More of, I remembered something that I had blocked out. You know how guilt tends to muck up the memory. I had um, I had basically blocked out some memories from while I was down there, and one of the biggest things that I blocked out was the fact that he accepted it. My father looked death in the eye and didn't flinch. He didn't waver. He didn't back down. He stared death down and didn't budge. He accepted that it was his time. He flat out told me, "If this is my time, so be it." He didn't, he wasn't, he was ready. It, I can't explain it. He had peace. I had never seen my dad quite like that. He just, he knew it was his time and he was okay with it. And looking back to my childhood, I actually started crying when I realized that he had the faith too. We never really talked about it much, but he had the faith. He truly had God in his heart. People say that um, to to be to be saved is to have a relationship with God and with Christ. And my dad, he had that. He even gave God a nickname. He called God Louis. I have no idea why. He I don't think he ever told me why. No, it's not. It's not Lucifer. Don't get that confused. It was just a nickname that my dad gave him for whatever reason. My dad was definitely not a Satanist. Believe me, no. But no, my dad nicknamed God Louis, and every so often, and these are more memories that I'd kind of just forgotten about or blocked out, however you want to put it, but he used to make comments to Louis all the time. You know, at least probably once a day when I was with him, he would make a comment to Louis at some point. You know, I never realized that, and I'm not gonna lie, it's comforting, and it's a great lesson to learn. You know, the it's one thing to acknowledge that everyone has a designated time on this earth. Nobody can extend their life for 1 single second. Nobody can shorten their life by 1 single second. Everyone will live exactly as long as they are intended to. So, soldiers, I know a lot of you who went who deployed. Let's put it nicely. Try not to touch any nerves. Those of you who deployed to an active situation, I know there's oftentimes a lot of guilt for certain things that happened. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some scenarios that are just evil. I'm not taking anything away from that. But for the loss of life there, please don't burden yourself. It was their time. If it wasn't by your hand, it would have been by a heart attack. If it wasn't by a heart attack, it would have been by a meteor from the sky. It was their time. Please do not take any offense to this. I do not take anything away from anything that's happened to you. This is a plea for you to unburden yourself from that guilt. And I hope this reaches someone that truly needs to hear this. Darn alarm. This also touches a spot for self-deletion. Of course, it is always tragic. It is always, always, always horrific and evil. It is something that nobody should ever have to do. Nobody should ever be made to feel that lost. Believe me, I've been there. But in the aftermath, those of us who are left behind, let it bring some closure that it was their time. Regardless of the circumstances, it was their time. I hope and I pray that we can reach everybody who is considering that, because that is not a way anybody should ever go out. But those of us who are left behind in the wake of that occurrence, we can find some solace to say that we would be grieving regardless of how it happened. At that moment, we would still be grieving. Because it was their time. And the lesson that my father taught us is the ultimate acceptance when that time comes for someone, even for yourself. Again, I hope this truly reaches someone who needs to hear it. I don't know why I was motivated to spread this today. I don't know if it'll reach anybody. Right now, my full form videos only get like 2-3 views a piece, if that. Um, so there's a decent chance this won't reach anybody. Um, but maybe. Maybe it will. And I hope it does. Because nobody should have to carry that kind of guilt or pain or anything like that. Those are just toxins to the soul, and they will destroy you. They will eat you away from the inside out until there's nothing left but a shell of who you used to be. Nobody deserves that. Now, lastly, if you're struggling with dark thoughts of self-harm or you're struggling with grief or anxiety, anything, reach out to someone. Please reach out. It's not good for man to be alone. We need each other. We need to have people around us to lean on. If you're in that dark place, reach out. Even if you get rejected 1,000 times, keep trying. Reach out. There is always hope if you keep searching. Seek and ye shall find. Ask and it will be given. Knock and it will be opened. Seek him. Seek your fellow man. There is always a way to overcome the darkness if you look for it. I suppose that's all I have to say for now. So I'm gonna sign off now. If any of you need to talk, you can make a comment down below and I will respond to the best of my ability.